Our webinar is titled as The Power of Problem Finding and Storytelling. It's the second of a series of 3 events entitled Breakthrough, Identify and Solve Future Problems End Users Care About. Our first series was titled Road Mapping, The Future from the Outside In. Great session, great contribution, and questions that came forward. We're continuing with that series. Today's webinar shows how to focus on what we can imagine in order to break the incremental innovation approach, and explains what proven storytelling techniques can be used to discover solutions and strategies that capitalize on the future problems that have been identified across your organization. Our presenters today are Irene Petrick and Russ Martinelli from Trendscape Innovation Group. Irene, a former Penn State University professor, is an internationally recognized expert in strategic road mapping. Her colleague Russ has over 20 years of experience in strategy development, portfolio management, new product development, program management, and engineering in the high-tech, aerospace, and defense, medical, and nonprofit industries. We're excited to have both of you, Irene and Russ, with us today. And with that, I'll turn the session over to you.
Thank you, Andy. Welcome. Today want to talk about the power of problem finding and storytelling. And this is an area that I think gets overlooked in the entire strategic planning process. And Russ and I will share some of our insights and some of our experiences with this. So as we think about strategic road mapping really has a life cycle. In the very first seminar, we talked about trends, and Russ will review some of those. What we're going to focus on in this particular seminar is the scenario analysis and the storytelling aspect of it. Ultimately, what companies want to end up with is new business models or roadmaps, composite roadmaps or technology roadmaps. We believe that to get to effective technology roadmaps or effective composite ecosystem roadmaps, that you really need to consider not just the trends, not just the solutions, but the story that surrounds that purpose. So Russ, why don't you review some of what we talked about in the very first session?
Excellent. Thank you, Irene. Welcome, everybody. So for those of you who weren't able to join us for the first webinar, I'll just do a quick preview of the things that we talked about to catch you up. So in the first webinar, we talked a lot about starting the strategic planning process with an outside-in view. And that really starts in the strategic road mapping process with doing an assessment of the environment within which you work, within which you do business. From that, we create our first roadmap, which is the environmental assessment roadmap. From that, we get a set of strategic trends that emerge about what the world might look like in the future, and also a set of assumptions about how the future might play out or how we think the future will play out. So Irene, if you'll advance, please. So let's talk first about that environmental assessment and in the environmental assessment roadmap. This is where we're trying to capture events in the future, and we're trying to look out about 3 to 4 years beyond an organization's normal strategic planning process. So if you normally look out 3 years in your strategic planning process, we're trying to get you out to the 6 to 8-year time frame. If you are normally look at a 5-year time horizon, which is fairly typical, we're trying to stretch you to the 8 to 10-year time horizon. So we're trying to get well beyond the horizon to try to predict some of the things that are going to go on in the environment so we can take advantage of them and look for new opportunities outside of our normal kind of incremental process of looking at strategy. We do that by laying a number of events that we are pretty certain are going to happen sometime in the future. Events that we think or we believe might happen, those are also very important. And we do it through a series of swim lanes about the environment that we're evaluating. From that, we do an assessment of that roadmap. So here you see a road mapping team that are really studying the events that people had put up there. We'll then walk through that roadmap, and in the process of walking through that, or walking the wall as we call it, we will start pulling out a set of strategic trends, a set of assumptions about what people think the future is going to look like, problems that we think will emerge and we'll need potential solutions for will come up, and then there's always good discussion and debate sometimes about how the future might play out. And so we're trying to catch that minority report as well, or the contrarian view, because many times that is the one that will actually play out in the future. So it's pretty common from this process that we will capture 30, 40 or more trends through that process, which is one of the key things we're trying to get out of this roadmap.